Lingang, the area of Shanghai where I live, is over 50 kilometers from central Shanghai. So if you live here, you're inevitably going to be faced with the question of how do I get to the central city, whether you want to go there for fun or if you have errands to do there. So today I'm going to have a quick look at that. How are we going to get to the central city? Starting here with my electric bike. No, I am not going to take my electric bike to the city. It does not have the range to accomplish that. But it's where we're going to start today. First stop is here, just outside my compound. There are bus stops here. That's one way you can get to the city. You can start by taking these buses. But no, they don't go all the way to the city. They just get you to the metro station. So that's a bit of a slow way to go. The bike here will be faster, so I'm going to use that today. But I certainly have used the buses before if my bike was broken, which it was until quite recently, or if someone else needs to use the bike. The buses in this area mostly go to Dishui Lake Station. But if I follow this road here, Hucheng Ring Road, which is just a matter of a few meters away from my compound, if I keep following it, I'll get to another metro station, Lingang Avenue Station. From where I live, Lingang Avenue Station is slightly closer than Dishui Lake Station, so I'll always go there if I'm on my bike or if I'm getting a ride share there. That is to say, like a taxi or a DD, which is basically the equivalent of Uber. Although I found a lot of foreigners here don't know about Lingang Avenue Station, and so a lot of them end up going to Dishui Lake Station, even though that's farther away. But I'm not going to do that. Off I go. Down the road toward the metro station. As that sign says, if you don't want to take public transportation at all, this is your way. Up here and to the left. Follow this road to the west, and it will eventually lead you to an on-ramp for an expressway that goes straight into the central city. So if you've got your own car, you can go this way. Or if you're going to take a DD or a taxi all the way into the city, this is the way you'll go. Seldom do I go this way due to the costs. But I do have a bit of footage from the road that I took when I was on a bus one time. So I'm going to show that now so you get something of an idea of how it is to go that way. Now, we're going to a toll booth. So that's going to the city by road, but we're going to be going on by metro. So I'm going to keep going toward the station now. Merrily we roll along. Getting closer now. Here we are, the end of Hucheng Ring Road at Lingang Avenue, for which Lingang Avenue Metro Station, which is just over there, is named. Lots of room here to park the bike, and right up here is the station. Some people park their bikes here on the sidewalk. They really shouldn't do that because they're covering up the tactile pavement for people who are blind or otherwise visually impaired. But do it anyway. And the station entrance. Down we go into the station. At which point, you can either come here to buy a single journey ticket, or you can use some other form of payment, such as your phone or a card. Only one line comes here to Lingang, line 16. Going to Dishui Lake would not make much sense, since as I've said, that's also here in Lingang. So rather, you're going to be heading over here to Loshan Road. Here you've got a screen telling you when the trains are coming. Sometimes you can catch express trains here that will skip several stops, but I'm not seeing any now, so I expect to be taking a normal train. You do have to be able to read Chinese to be sure what the schedule is telling you, though. So that can be a bit of a complication for some people. Oh, and here comes the train. I can see its lights coming. Here we go.
本线路车厢实施分区调温，头尾两节车厢为弱等车厢，欢迎乘客们按需乘坐。
It's usually pretty empty here, although perhaps even emptier now. As I'm filming this, Shanghai's big COVID lockdown just ended less than a week ago. So there may still be some low traffic because of all that. Off we go. Within Lingang, line 16 is an underground line. But soon after Lingang, it comes out into an above ground line. Like this, where you'll see a fair number of settlements and also some greenery indicating that yes, we're a good ways outside the central city still. And that's what most of this line is going to be like until we get close to the end, where it'll be a little more urban. In an area called Huinan, it briefly goes back underground, but then comes up again after one station. If you go to the city by metro, you are in for a long ride, because line 16 takes itself a good hour on a normal train, that is, not an express train, to go from one end to another. Furthermore, the end of the line is not necessarily far enough into the city to be where you want to go in most cases. I'll show you a little more when we get there about this, but often you'll need to change trains to another line. Going through more farmland type territory now. So yes, there is farmland within the Shanghai municipality. A bit more residential through here. Oh, and another train's coming by. Lower rise residential now. Getting a bit closer to the end of the line now, so getting more and more urbanized. We're now coming up on Loshan Road, which is the first of 3 interchange stations on line 16. You can use it to get to line 11, and depending on where in the city you're going, this might be the way you want to go. It's not the way I'm going today, so I'm not going to get off here. But I do have some older footage that I can put in here to show what it looks like. So let's have a little flashback here. This is it, Loshan Road. And the way to line 11 is pretty simple. Just down this escalator. And here's the platform for line 11. Here in the present, we're now approaching the next interchange station. Middle Huaxia Road. This one is the interchange with line 13. It does not go quite as many places in the central city as line 11, but you still might have reasons to change trains here. Again, I'm not going to do that today, so I won't be getting off now. But again, I do have some old footage I can show you. So, let's have another flashback. Find a sign that takes me to line 13. There we go. Back this way. So right now I'm up here on the footbridge, but I'm going to need to go down to get to line 13. So here we are on the escalator. Here's ground level. But we're just going to go right on past ground level. Underground. Back to now. Now approaching the final station, Lingang Road. This is both the end of the line and a major interchange station. You can actually change to 3 different lines here. Line 2, line 18, and line 7. So you have a lot of good choices here. So a lot of people do go all the way here to the end of the line. Over here you can actually see the skyscrapers of Luzhan's Way. Barely. If the air were clearer, you could see more. Yay, falling down, falling down, falling down. Just like London Bridge. Yep, pulling in here to the station now. This is my station. Kind of has to be, given that it's the end of the line. And it's such a major interchange that it's definitely worth having a look at. It's a big station. Right now I'm actually here on the 3rd floor of the station. And there are 4 floors in total. This 3rd floor, a 2nd floor, a ground floor, and a a basement level where you get a lot of the platforms. There might actually be more. I'm not sure if there's more than one sub-basement level. The thing to realize is that this platform for line 16 is the only one to be above ground. The others are all underground. So we're going to go down now here to the 2nd floor, which is basically the concourse for line 16. Yep, here we are at concourse level, where we can find the way to the other lines. If we wanted to go to line 18, which is the newest one here, we'd head this way, and this would bring us underground. But we're not going to use line 18. We're going to go to line 2, which is pretty popular given that it goes right through the central city. Still at the 2nd floor level. Now crossing what's effectively rather like a footbridge. Heading towards line 2 and line 7. Line 7 is also a fairly significant way to get into the city, but I don't think I've ever actually been on it. There's so many lines in this system, it'd be easy to spend a ton of time here and never actually ride all the lines. Semi-outdoors now, and there's a KFC. As we get on the escalator, heading down to the first floor. Also, McDonald's over there. How fun. And here you can choose to head for line 2 or line 7. As I said, I'm going to head for line 2. A lot of people do because it goes to many of the most important areas like Loshan, which is where most of the big skyscrapers are, and also to Nanjing Road, which is one of the more important shopping areas, and just in general, a place you can find a lot of stuff over on the west side of the river. If you're wanting to head into the city, the direction you're going is toward East Shujing.
乘客们，列车马上就要进站奖项安全。本次列车终点站已过关。
Here comes the train. Feels again emptier than normal. I guess due to the recent end of the lockdown. Getting quite close to the city center now. The next station after this one is Loshan, which is where most of Shanghai's big skyscrapers are. And I think we'll go ahead and get off there to show that you can indeed get to the city center from Lingang. Here we are, Loshan. And out of the station. And yes, we have arrived right in the center of Shanghai. So, to sum all this up, I started by riding my bike from home to the metro station, and then I took the metro here to the city. It took me around an hour and a half, I'd say. This is what I would normally do when I'm by myself. If I'm with family, then I would likely instead take a car, either a taxi or a DD from home to the metro station, but otherwise it'd be pretty much the same. We'd drive the same route and get to the same station. If you don't have a bike, another choice is definitely taking public transportation the whole way. Get a bus to the metro station in Lingang, though it'll probably be to Dishui Lake Station rather than Lingang Avenue Station. Alternatively, one other option, if you've got your own car, or if you're prepared to shell out for a ride, you can get driven all the way here into the central city. I pretty much never do this. I don't like paying the cost. But I know other people who don't like public transportation enough that they decided that they would do this. They would always take one that's a little cheaper, one that's kind of a carpool service rather than a ride service. And that'll be this video, Lingang to the central city. Hope you enjoy getting to see me do this and for me to discuss some of your options if you want to do the same. If you did like this video and you'd like to see more about my life in China, this would be a great time to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you all next time. Bye.